What is up, beautiful people? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Auto Skin Detail. Give them a follow on Instagram, like a couple pictures, show them some love. This podcast is also brought to you by Cinder, fulfilling all of your cannabis needs in Spokane. Visit them at cindersmoke.com and order your buds before you get to the store. Let's go! Yo, I'm just happy to be here. You know, we genuinely care what other people think. And
I think
what other people feel. Like the people that mean something to you.
Yeah.
You are kind of, wanting to make those people happy, and their opinion matters. And if you have.
But can you imagine what your life would be like if you didn't? Can you imagine what you would accomplish if you could just completely disconnect?
Like everything, and just like separate and just be.
Let's say you have a working
moment.
mind and an ego.
Okay, and the ego is the thing that makes you feel like I need to buy some new shoes.
Well, yeah.
Or like need to
and then do whatever it is that can validate.
Make sure I've seen this show, so that way people. Oh fuck! I gotta make sure that I do my hair right, or da 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 da. Like all that superficial stuff. So it's not. So it's and that's what mushrooms does.
It does.
God, I love that.
Yeah, you and me both.
I love that, dude. I love that. That it just like takes you completely out of that normal bubble that you're in.
It's such a life-changing experience, man. So I was not about the mushrooms for a long time, like most of my life, because I'd take way too many mushrooms. I'd get lost. I'd get confused. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why do people do this? This is not fun for me.
So how was it? How did you come to start? Like, what was the first time you ever did mushrooms? How was that? Like, how did you come across them? Was it alone?
So I had some friends, and there was 4 or 5 of us at the time. I can't remember. We were pretty young. One of them goes, dude, we got these mushrooms. We're all going to eat them. And I'm like, okay, I've never done that before. What's it like? They're like, it's kind of like smoking weed, but it's just a lot more intense.
So this is
you're probably going to see things.
What's the age here?
About 14, 15.
Wow.
So we're like, dope. We're going to eat these mushrooms. My buddy Kyle, his parents were gone for the weekend. So we're like, yeah, we're going to do this at Kyle's house, right?
That's the best.
That's the best, man.
Parents gone for the weekend.
Parents are gone. We're having a party. This is...
And Kyle is very confident.
Kyle was super confident.
He's like, listen, they're gone.
Kyle's that guy who's like, man, we have the house to ourselves. Like, I'm going to get my older brother to get us some beer. We're going to eat these mushrooms. We're going to have a fantastic time. And for all intents and purposes, what you think there?
That is fucking amazing.
That's what I like to hear.
Yo, just a little pause for some...
Drecker plug.
Wow, not even sponsored, but please call us. This is fucking amazing. Wow, this is a double fruit smoothie sour, and that bitch is thick.
So yeah, these are done by some guys in North Dakota, and I don't know what shipping is like. All I know is it's not easy to get this shit around here.
Dude,
so I got a buddy that goes over there and he gets them. Yeah, look at that, dude.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You need to wake up with that kind of smoothie.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
That fucking good drip going.
Oh, dude, this is commercial worthy.
That's what I wanted. So yeah, that's it's really nice. It's good for a treat.
I did not think it was going to be so sweet. Yes, for a day like this, because it is probably 91 degrees right now.
At least.
So yeah, what was his name? Kyle? What was his name?
So Kyle. Yeah, we're at Kyle's parents' house. And so they're gone. Whatever. We don't actually know where they were.
But Kyle's confident.
He's happy, man.
They're gone, man.
We didn't find out until the next day that nobody in the group had done mushrooms before. We lost a few people along the way. I remember. I don't.
So how many did you start with?
I remember eating the 8th, and then thinking to myself, like, this didn't do anything, I'm going to eat another one. And that's exactly what I did. I think Kyle had the same idea because he was the first person we lost.
Oh, wow. You're at Kyle's house and Kyle's the first one to get lost?
Yep. Just ridiculous, man.
Poor Kyle.
Yeah, we got real high. I don't honestly remember it. I remember throwing up a whole bunch. I remember being real confused. We ran around the neighborhood just high as shit looking for Kyle because like we were convinced that he was dead somewhere.
So this is a frightening high.
Oh, very frightening. This is one of those experiences that a lot of people look at it and they go, I'm never going to do that again.
And here we are.
But here we are. So the next morning, we're all in the living room trying to remember what the fuck happened, right? And Kyle comes walking in. He's like, hey, how's it going, everybody? And we're just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, where were you? What happened? We've been looking for you for the last 12 hours. He said, oh, I was up on the roof talking to God. Yeah, I had a great trip. I was up there talking to God, man.
Fuck?
You guys want to come up and talk to God with me? Because we're like, oh shit, he's still tripping. And so we all go up on the roof, right? It's like a little it's like
because you guys, of course, at this age, you were like, maybe he is talking to God.
He could have been talking to God, man.
Wow.
Like after the experience we had the night before, we're not 100% sure what's real anymore.
So you go up there.
We go up there. We climb out the window onto the roof. And we realized, first of all, that if he was up there all night, which he said he was, he would have heard us running around the neighborhood calling for him and just said nothing about it because he was so into his conversation with God. And then secondly, we realized that God was just a Frisbee that was sitting on the roof. That was apparently the greatest thing that had happened to him ever. And yeah, it's... I
mean, 2/8
that's
of
mushrooms in the...
2/8 of them. I think that proportionate size is very important.
I agree.
Especially when people are beginning to do something like that.
And that's where a lot of people mess it up. You get this medicine that's potentially powerful but also potentially helpful in a lot of ways. And you can misuse it in that fast.
Well,
and you're thinking a different thing about it.
And anything on the street, right? Or you just get it, you just don't know how much to take.
That's been a big problem with a lot of drugs, especially psychedelics, since they became popular. It was, don't eat the brown acid, it'll get you.
Mm-hmm.
We're all walking around like, oh, everybody's getting high. It was a whole psychedelic revolution. Everybody decided this was bad. You can't be getting this kind of high.
Yeah.
Not because they're afraid you're going to jump off a roof. They don't give a fuck if you jump off a roof. They're afraid that you're going to challenge these normals and things that you've been told your entire life because your brain goes about it in a different way once you're done with the psychedelic
you're looking
experience.
at it different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the craziest thing to me, the coolest thing to me about psychedelics is how you actually take what you experienced into life after the trip.
Yeah. Dude, it's awesome to be able to say this, actually. So, I was diagnosed way too late in life with bipolar disorder. Okay. Like, I spent a lot of years trying to figure out what was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough. A lot of depressing times. It wasn't until I kicked out all of the medications and switched them out for the psilocybin that I was finally able to teach myself to think differently. Wow. Rather than something happens and I just crumble underneath of that, be like, oh my God, the world has ended. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You just you think a way around it.
So, and it's just such a cliche thing to say, but it's like, did they open your mind?
They really do.
To kind of think in different places.
I'm not going to say it happens right away because nobody gets enlightenment overnight. Mm-hmm. You got people who study like magic, like the occult and stuff. They dedicate their entire life to just trying to get rid of that ego.
Wow.
Like that just approaches it from a totally different side, but they're trying to go for the same result.
And so really ego is just the horrible thing.
It's the thing that stands in the way of most growth, I believe. I think that's why people get greedy. Actually, I think that's why we have most of the problems we have.
But isn't it, it's kind of like sometimes a feeling that's hard to, when you're not in that space, when you're not able to kind of get out, I feel like it's a feeling it's hard. It feels good to do it.
Oh, big time.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like, it's hard to, like, you really have to just completely separate your ego at that time and say, hey, do you need no? And shut it down because it feels good to do sometimes some of
That's
these
that
things.
main part of you that gets inflated when like someone, you know, pumps you up.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, imagine not even caring if someone says, "Oh, Zach, your hair's on fucking point today, bro," and you're just like, you know,
That means nothing.
yeah, that means nothing to me because I'm in a different place. Like it's crazy to think that there are people that are at that level, and who knows if they actually are. But that's
Like people that
honestly what I would like to strive for. You know,
is to try to separate that as much as you can.
yeah.
Because I think I ride on like maybe like a blissful kind of wave of in a little bit of ignorance, right? Like, but like I want to be real positive, and then affect the people around me to be real positive, and then they'll give me back because I give the energy to put out the positivity to kind of like lift everybody up.
For sure.
And then I lose a little bit of energy, right? And then you expect those people to kind of like, or when you have people that give it back, you know what I'm saying? And then it kind of fills you back up. And like that's kind of where I live.
Yeah.
That's just where I've found.
That's an amazing place to live, Zach.
Is to try to do that.
Yeah.
And then it seems to kind of replicate out, and people are, and mushrooms has helped me with that. And I can find behaviors or things that I'm doing and just be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And that's cool, man. Dude, I really like to hear that because even without that, like you're such a joy to be around in general. Like I walk into work and I'm like, oh hell yeah, Zach's here. Like what's up,
dude,
bro? Like it's gonna be a good day.
That's cool. No, I don't care about that. Okay, I'm in a different place.
But on some level, should you? That's where we start to reach like the philosophically terrifying part of the discussion.
Well, because the world is so complicated. It's I don't know. You can simplify it and live a life a certain way. And there's a certain ignorance to these other things.
It's a euphoric ignorance.
Just get rid of it.
It's fantastic.
I don't
sometimes.
need it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. But then, you know, there's other people that are like, oh, well, you're not doing your part.
Yeah.
You're being ignorant.
Oh, dude.
And there's just a lot of ways to live, I guess. But how do you get people to, I mean, the fact that you were able to cure bipolar disorder or adapt to it.
Adapted, yeah.
And really understand it and the patterns of it and yourself. And then not on any like medications or anything.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it took 6 years.
No, but that's amazing. I mean, 6 years is really not that much time.
In a lifetime, it's really not.
Not that much time, man, for you to kind of, and I just think it's amazing when people really like listen to their bodies, listen to your intuition, trying new things, experimenting. Beautiful results.
Hell yeah. But on the same level, you know, shotgun a Four Loko when someone hands it to me, so you can't say it's all good.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons, my friend. There is balance, man, in all things.
Dude,
yin and yang.
Four Lokos.
It's been a long time, but
wow,
that was just the most destructive thing I could think of off the top of my head.
That's pretty destructive.
Dude, just straight to the dome. Yeah.
We used to do like we would play King's Cup, but we would play it in like an ice tray. Have you ever done that?
Yep.
Yeah, and you would hit the quarter into the ice tray, and then it was a certain thing, and we would always exclusively play with Four Lokos only, and it was pretty. It's just that sugary, caffeinated alcohol. It was caffeinated, right?
I believe so. There was a lot of caffeine involved.
And before they banned it, and I think we were still drinking it.
And then we still found it. Yeah, you could go to Idaho or Montana, and you could still find it.
Or no, I think they.
For Montana.
But I think they like took out the caffeine or whatever was in it, and then they just made it a normal Four Loko.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Without it, yeah, and we were just drinking those, and it wasn't the same because you really felt kind of crazy on those other ones. Yeah,
you did. I remember the OG Four Lokos. We used to play a game. It was my favorite drinking game. We called it Dab Mines. I don't know if you ever played Landmines. Where like you spin the quarter and you take the drink and then you grab the quarter.
No, I've never played that. That sounds dope.
Okay, so let's say you spin the quarter and you take the drink and the quarter falls down. Well, you got to pour some more and take some more drink. Okay, so let's add another step to this equation.
Okay.
Now, this is back in the days of red-hot titanium nails and just green globs that we were open blasting in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
So you got to put yourself in our position. You heat up that nail red hot, bro. Spin the quarter, take the drink, take the dab, set the rig down, grab the quarter. you're good.
Whoa, that's
Anywhere in that process where you mess up, you got to do it again. I've got friends that still won't dab with me after playing this like 10 years ago.
That red hot dab, man. that red hot dab is destructive.
It is.
I mean, that shit is not. You don't. That shit is just. I don't want to know what it does to my body really when you take a hot dab like that. Especially, I mean, we're saying red hot.
Red
like you would
hot,
heat it up and
man.
like get it while it's hot.
That shit was red, and as soon as it turned from red to slightly less red, you just nail that. Yeah.
And like, there was no caps.
There were no caps.
It was just like. Psst,
yeah.
so
I remember the first time I bought a carb cap, it was because a dude at the head shop convinced me to, because he was like, "Man, it's supposed to." Like trap the oxygen and make the dab come up better, and I'm like, dude, but the dab just sizzles away. But he's like, oh no, you gotta take that dab at a lower temp.
So
I'm like, bro, I hot knife hash, bro. I don't need to take your dab at a lower temp.
Yo, hot.
And now here I am, like 3 Q-tips every dab.
So now
waste it to taste it.
Yes, I'm very curious with the you mean Sticky Dan? I mean, really. What is up, beautiful people of the world? My name is ExZac Change. I'm happy to be here today with my friend, Sticky Dan. If you haven't noticed, we've already been doing this, but
I didn't realize you had gone into it when you did, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It just seemed like a good place to start.
Has anyone told you before that you're really good at this?
Oh, no.
Well, you're really good
I
at this.
don't care. I'm in a
He's
different place.
He's not.
I do care. I'm so happy when he says that. It makes me feel so good.
Happy to be here.
Tell me about this. I mean, this is like a legacy. Of Sticky Dan. I mean, you had to put Sticky in the name because I mean
because I made a mess one day and that's how I got branded.
Is that what really?
That's how that shit happens. Yeah.
Please tell me that story.
I used to work at a place where we did the cannabis thing and it was concentrate, and I ran the oil processing unit at the time. And long story short, made a giant mess and this dude walks up. And he's just like, oh, Sticky Dan.
Really?
Shit happens, man. Yeah, dude, it was like a half-gallon jar.
Wow.
Just full of terps.
Wow.
Just busted everywhere.
Wow.
But that's the difference between working at like one of these giant processors and like, working on a store level.
Yeah.
It's like if I drop an eighth of weed and break it at the store, I'm gonna buy it because I feel bad.
Exactly.
Whereas I used to like, walk into quarantine and like bump a shelf and knock 3 ounces on the ground. And they're like, somebody come sweep this up,
bro. What is it like? What was that worth? You think that big thing of terps?
Oh shit, man! That was wholesale. That was at least $16 a gram. You're looking at 800 grams.
Oh wow. So
you spend enough time, you can have some fun, I guess.
So you started from, hot nail dabs and probably not the best oil.
No.
To
I even worked at a little shithole called Cannabis and Glass for a while.
Damn.
And
that's unfortunate.
They sold some of the worst oil I've ever smoked there.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
But because it was there.
And how do you know if you're smoking bad oil?
It's a combination of things, man. Anymore, I smoke for flavor. I smoke so much that it's kind of like this perma high. You just sustain. You don't really like smoke to get high. You kind of just smoke to keep going. And it's all about the taste. If it don't taste good, I really don't care about it. So that's my first mark. If you got no flavor, I'm probably going to talk shit about your product.
Okay.
And that's just because I believe in hash. Hash rules everything around me, as it were.
So, like, what is hash exactly? Like, what is just, like, how do you turn weed to hash?
Excuse me, that smoothie. Had a little smoothie burp there.
That's good.
It's great. Okay, so hash is honestly a very simple process. You just sift the trichomes, which are made up of 2 parts. The trichome has a head.
Okay.
And then it has a little hair attached to it. And the head is the part that you want because that's got all of like the good. It's got your THCs and your terpenes and a lot of plant oils. It's got
everything in there.
Most of what you want is in there. So what we try to do is you can use water. You can dry sift it a couple of different ways. But my favorite way to do it is just using bubble bags and just running some water and some good old-fashioned ice. So you dump the water in the bag, you dump the ice in the bag, and then you let it sit for a sec. You stir it around. And what the ice does is it agitates those trichomes. And it just pops them right off of the hairs.
Whoa.
And so, pops it off of the plant. You get all sorts of little, like, chunks that were there with it. So, like, if you look at the water when you're making hash, like, on that first level, it's just kind of murky. You're like, oh, that looks kind of gross.
Yeah.
So then you take and you pour it through, like, 10 cascading sizes of bags. and you start to see the different qualities of material you've made. One level you've got kind of, it's your full spectrum, as it were. Generally, it's just going to get pressed into some kind of rosin, or people you're gonna dry it and sell it to people to put on their bowls or something like that. And then as you go down, you end up getting the different qualities of sifts, where you can either have like full melt, where it just, you take just hash, and that is my favorite, because it's done with nothing but water.
And then
no
that's
solvents involved.
Wow.
It's got the full expression of the plant. And if it's dabbable, like 5 and 6 star hash, which is really hard to achieve, you got to have your grow dialed in, you got to have your process dialed in perfectly. It's something that's really sought after. And I say there's a couple of people that do it really, really well.
Can you get that on
I'm fortunate enough to have learned from some of the
Can
greats.
you get any of that on a retail?
Oh yeah, you can find some of it. Danksar makes some amazing hash rosin.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never had it. I know it's really expensive, and I really want to try it.
It is more expensive, but it's just the difference in your source material. A lot of people, they can take $150 pound of weed or fan leaf, and you can blast it. You can now we can go Clorox crew. We can CRC that shit.
And what is that? Please tell me what that is. I have no idea what that is, but I keep hearing about it.
So, essentially, what you do is you add. It's kind of like so for lack of a better word, it's a clay. It's just a medium that you use that pulls out some of the non-desirables in your mixture when you're making oil. It started off doing stuff like this because we were remediating like pesticides and, taking things that didn't need to be there and just sucking them out of the mixture.
Okay.
Then we realized, holy shit, we can turn everything clear and white, and we can just do this. And it's honestly really cool if you do it right. I mean, if you think about how a lot of distillate is made, there's a lot of charcoal and diatomaceous earth and stuff going on in there, but it gets filtered right back out. It was like, holy shit, it's so clean. Well, it is. That's because it was distilled.
Yeah.
That's how the process works.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
even people that are like scared about, I don't like the CRC. I don't want to smoke this clay stuff. It's like it's not really what you need to be worried about. Like if you're like me, you just don't like it because it doesn't taste the same.
Okay, and so is it like the darker the oil, the more terps, or is it like
darker the oil can mean a couple of different things. Normally, it's oxidization. Various cannabinoids turn different colors over a period of time, depending on how you're storing them.
Like when you see something real dark, like
sometimes it's just not made in a very cold process. So the reason when we extract, you use a lot of dry ice. You jacket everything, you use a lot of slurries. We make a lot of things very, very cold. And if you're not able to do that, it doesn't capture the chlorophyll in the same way. So you end up with a darker mixture.
Because I think it's just obvious that a lot of people that shop for oil definitely go for anything lighter.
Oh, big time, dude. And that's honestly really frustrating, especially for somebody like me who fuck man, like I was saying, knife hitting hash. Like, you want to talk about like some black hash, dude, like straight off the boat. That's what used to be my favorite thing in the world to smoke. You heat up a knife or two, take a little funnel, suck that shit down, man. It's amazing. Cannot beat it. You get the full effect of the plant when you're smoking hash. And that's what I don't appreciate about this ultra filtered, ultra refined movement.
That's what people and why is that? Do you think that people see that like
it started off with people wanting something that tested at 99%. It was everybody wanted some distillate. Ooh, I want some clear, and then it's I want it to taste like fucking watermelons, and I want it to taste like cherries. And okay, bro, have fun. So the nearest thing that some people could do, because they didn't want to make distillate anymore, because carts are eventually going to piss people off again to where they're not going to be able to sell them. Just wait. There'll be another ban on that at the rate we're going. Fuck, I forgot. I completely lost my train of thought. People didn't want to make distillate, so they start using other things to do it. We can use that same product to make a gram that you can still sell for roughly the same price, because we can just bleach the fuck out of it.
And so, yeah, that's what I'm interested in, especially, is the bleaching process and how it's like, because those guys seem to be more successful because, the average customer, get off me, go away. The average customer seems to be, not as educated about these kind of things. So it's like they if they see something dark, it's like, ooh, no, And then if they see something really light, so it's like if you were to say, so you see like some of that EHO and it's like a little bit darker and people would just be kind of like, what? Like, And then people will see some of that mountain high and they'll be like, ooh,
That's a bag appeal, dude. It's just like food. It's 90% presentation, maybe even more.
Even more, yeah. Like how the, Burger King commercial burger and the one that you get when you pull up, much different.
Much
different.
That just takes me back to when I used to work for Pizza Hut, like when I was a teenager. They were telling us one day about how they got their commercials to look so perfect. And it was, all of the extra cheese. And, we take the spot where all the cheese is and put a screw in it so that we can pull the slice up to where the cheese just stays there. Ridiculous stuff, man. Like, yeah. Just made me laugh really hard, especially now.
That's amazing.
I haven't eaten Pizza Hut in like 12 years, so that's actually a good thing.
I really, really appreciate that, actually, okay? I like the hustle, okay? You found a way.
Yep.
You found a way. You nailed that shit down, pull that cheese up. It's all about presentation.
It's all about presentation.
Well, no, let's be honest. It's all about delivery. But
why do you think Jimmy John's is still in business?
Yeah, not good, bro. Not good. Not good. There's many other great options. If you're looking for,
but they're there in 5 minutes, so fuck it.
If you're looking for a great option for a sandwich, I would say get some High Nooner.
Ooh.
Have you had that?
It's been a long time, but yes.
So good.
That is great. So what are you rolling up over there, Zach?
I got some of this slurricane here from.
I can smell that from here. The wind is blowing it over here. Wow.
It's so good. It's so sweet. I'm a sweet terpene guy. What about you?
I'm more about the gas.
Oh, gassy.
I've been all gas.
So where does the butthole terpene lie?
The butthole terpene, it's the cornucopia of butthole, as it were. It involves all things GMO and Kush mints and that kind of stuff that really has that like earthy tone, and it takes earthy to another level where you're not dealing with gas anymore. You're dealing with garlic. And you're dealing with feces, and like
for real,
it's not in a bad way too. And that's what I love about, especially working in cannabis, is that you have so many different ways to describe these things, and none of them are bad. I can say, hey, you know what? This tastes like kind of like this is forest floor and it's diesel, and people are like, holy shit, I want to put that in my lungs.
Forest floor, I like that.
Some fur.
I'd be like dirty gym sock butthole. That's what I call it. Like shit like that. Like.
I used to say when I pull out the GMO, I'll be like, all right, this one's offensive, but you might like this. Just like that's how it's going to attack your nose.
Bro,
this smells like Petruccio's butthole after a long day in front of the oven.
From Burnwell is offensive. That shit is like you smell it and you're like, oh.
But it tastes so good.
But it's
so good.
It gets you so stoned too.
Yeah. I smoked like a half a bowl of that with Shane the other day and just spinning off in another place.
Yeah, fucking dude, Shane is notorious he's a notorious garlic advocate.
He is the garlic man.
Terpene.
Yep.
And proudly. See, this is the thing.
He's very proud. I told him
we got to find a good way to deliver the message. Because when we just keep telling people it smells like butthole, but in a good way, I just don't think that they're convinced.
I told Shane to get a tattoo, and he was totally down. He's gonna get the cornucopia of butthole tattoo.
Yes.
So Brandon's in progress on that one. We're gonna see how he's doing.
Shut the fuck up! You guys are already moving like
sketchy,
that?
dude. We've been talking about it. Yeah.
Holy shit!
That is
insane.
He might have forgotten, but I have not. I know Brandon didn't forget. Shane's probably the one that forgot on that one.
Getting it, dude. Yo,
I'm so proud of that guy. I just want to say,
shout out to Brandon.
Holy shit! Shout out to Brandon. Like that, he wanted to do something, and he just making his dreams happen.
He just shift gears too.
So quickly.
And just went
like it became something that he wanted to do, and it was just flick of the switch. He was gone. Yeah. And that's awesome, man. I can appreciate that.
Here, man. He's an interesting dude.
Dude, he's got a lot to say.
Yeah, he's a cool fucking guy.
Yeah.
Man. I'm definitely gonna get him on here and talk.
He's lived a bit.
Tell me about, honestly, man. Okay, we've been all over the place. I think we segued off into hash, and I tried to bring us back to what we were talking about before we went on the hash thing.
For sure.
I think we were talking about the Sticky Dan and the dropping the
Yeah. We were talking about how much that was worth.
And how much that was
all
worth.
That kind of shit.
And honestly, kind of just getting the story of the stickiness from the hot old dabs. But I think we kind of covered a lot of that kind of shit.
The stickiness evolves, man. You start off you start off making, you know.
When did terps become important? When was that a thing?
Dude, you know what? It wasn't until like 2014 and we realized that we'd been purging a lot of things that we probably could have kept around. We've been dumping off a lot of material that we maybe could have smoked, but that's fine. You know, you live and you learn. And that's the fun part, dude. You know, I don't miss open blasting in the backyard. Like, that was not fun. It was always an element of, cool, we might die here today. But at the same time, if you know what you're doing, you don't die. You survive it. We blew up one kitchen.
Kind of a trip, though.
Yeah.
You did blow up a kitchen?
We blew up one kitchen.
So
my buddy's dad owned the duplex that we lived in. And we just, it was rough, man. We had both sides of this place, right? So we had, like, ventilation going from one side into the other out the door, just because that was the way that it works. So we cut a hole between duplexes, which in hindsight is a really terrible idea. Don't ever cut a hole in a wall at a place that you rent. Just word of the wise. But yeah, so anyways, we did a couple of things wrong, and dude turned on the hot plate, and it sucked just the right amount of gas into the other kitchen to where, like, the fireball started and then, like, blew out the other side. And it was magnificent, man. But, like, had I been, like, 2 feet closer, I wouldn't have a face.
So you were inside.
Oh, I was right next to it.
Holy shit.
I was watching my buddy Jake whip that shit. I was like, yeah, get it. Oh, wait.
And then so it just caught, like, where the heat and the flame met the gas.
There wasn't even a flame. It was like a hot plate, but it was just hot enough where there was just too much butane left in the mix when it came out of the pipe.
Wow.
And it just took it away.
And that just shows you right there, you get humbled by science.
Oh, every day. And I was thinking about it today. Like, I've surrounded myself, especially in the cannabis community, with some of the biggest minds out there. And, like, if you're not learning something every day, I'm sorry for you, you know? Like, that is my opinion. Well, I think everybody needs to go out there and just learn something for themselves.
Like it's crazy because I was having this conversation with my buddy, and he was talking about how there's some people who just really want to expand and grow, and there's some people who just want to go to work, clock in, clock out, go home, play video games, eat some dinner, go to sleep.
And I can definitely appreciate
and just
both.
do that.
Yeah.
And just have no real, maybe a couple goals, but not, nothing serious. I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm just, and then it's just like different stages of life too. You go through different evolutions of yourself.
Oh yeah, dude. 5 years ago, I wasn't like this.
Isn't
I was still doing the same shit, but I was not moving it the way that I am now.
What are you going to be doing in 5 years? How are you going to be moving? That's crazy.
We'll see, man.
That's what's fucking cool is that, because I always think of it like it's like you an NBA create a character. Like you some type of you basically just create a character in life. Mm-hmm. And you're just adding statistics to your shit. Agility, using your brain, smarts, intelligence, awareness. Like, you just kind of adding. And really in life, there's like an infinite amount of things that you can learn to do.
That is for sure.
And you can do many things, man. I mean, you played a fucking keyboard. You make beats. You do all sorts of wild musical things.
I've done a lot of musical things, man. And that just came from growing up in a musical family, really. Yeah, my whole family, they were very, very religious. So really? there was a side to all of that was like, you got to be in the choir and like all that other kind of stuff. So like they did a lot of singing and stuff too. So I'm lucky enough to not only be a musician, but actually have been coached really, really well vocally too. So that's kind of cool.
That is really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. When I was a kid, I had my sister who was, I don't think I've ever actually said this where she could like go back and reference it. So I'm just going to say this right now. The best piano player I have ever come into contact with.
Really?
A virtuoso level piano player.
What's your sister's name?
Her name's Darcy.
Darcy.
And
she lives here in Spokane?
No, she lives in Montana now.
Oh wow.
She doesn't play as much anymore. She used to go and do things like with like choir groups and stuff and have all sorts of fun that way. But anyways, she was my piano teacher when I was a kid, and I hated it. I did not want to learn to play the piano. I kept getting told that this is the building blocks of music. This is how you learn how to do all the things that you want to do, Daniel. It's going to be just fine.
Which they were right.
They were right. I realized when I got to college at 17 years old, because I hated high school, decided to skip a lot of it. But so yeah, I realized when I got to college that they were right. They were 100% right. I needed all of that piano stuff, and it just kind of put me where I'm at now musically. Went and studied music theory, studied audio engineering. And yeah, it's been an adventure, man.
That's fucking
lots
really
of different
cool, man.
bands. Right now I'm playing keyboards in a reggae band. Well, I guess it's kind of a reggae band.
You don't want to put yourself in a box.
But it's kind of funky too, man. It kind of reminds me. I get like some Doorsy kind of vibes off of it in the midst of all the bubbles. So it's pretty cool.
I think that it's cool to not, because the next thing that you guys are gonna make gonna be reggae.
No, but that's the fun part.
See, so that's what I like. It's experimental.
Mm-hmm. Called ourselves Slippy. We're just slipping and sliding around. We're doing whatever we want.
How did you guys come up with that name, Slippy?
You know, you're gonna have to ask Joey about that one, if I'm being completely honest, because like I forgot. I was at band practice when he told me about it, but I was just, man, it was a long day.
So you just got the message and it was like, we're Slippy.
Dude, I was down. Like it was the best thing I had heard, and I was ready for it. And that's really cool. It's been a new experience. My last experience playing keyboards in a group was actually a metal band.
Please tell me about this last experience. Who is this metal band, dude?
We were called Midnight Cry, and it was actually really funny because
dope.
Before I showed up, they had this dude who was like writing all of the music and playing keyboards, and he was another super religious guy, and he was like, this is what we're doing. But then he left the band and he left me on the keyboards, and then it kind of just took a turn in a totally different direction. It was a lot of fun for a while, but it's when all of your friendships are based off of a religion that's based off of showing up and doing what everyone else does.
There's not a lot.
It turns into more of a routine, and there's no love, and you lose friends. You know.
What makes it work,
dude? I've been doing this my entire life, sitting down and playing music with people. I was 13 years old when I got a drum set. My mom finally let me get a drum set. I was talking about it for...
Because you wanted to play fucking... They wanted you to play keys and shit.
They wanted
and you were like,
keys.
I don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah, so I spent like 3-4 years playing the keyboards. Like I don't know, 7.
I want to play the fucking drums.
Yeah, I wanted to play the drums. That was all I wanted to do. And so we found a drum set. We got it. And my brother, and dude who is now my brother-in-law, it's an interesting character. Anyways, they were like, yo, we're going to play this thing at the church tomorrow. Like, do you want to play with us? Fuck yeah, I want to play with you guys. And we're just like, he can't do that. He just got his drum set yesterday. I was like, watch me. And then it just went from there.
And so, did it come pretty natural?
It did a little bit. I think most things musically come pretty naturally for me.
Do you have a lighter?
Nice. I have your lighter, actually.
Yes, I need that.
Yep.
There we go.
It's cool because music it's a mixture of natural talent and skill that you can teach yourself, that you can learn from somebody, that you can drill.
Mm-hmm.
I've met people that have played for 40 years that are some of the best musicians around. You know, there's some of the greats. But I've also met people that started last year and they're going to just do bigger and better things than other people that I've ever seen.
Because it's just a
sometimes you're just gifted with it.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
I had this dude. He was a drum teacher. He was around when I was a kid. He didn't teach me, but he instructed some of my friends, and he had just all of the best things to say because he'd been playing the drums for 40 years, and he was amazing.
Wow.
But there was a kid that he taught that he said, the only reason I'm here teaching this kid anything is because I need him to just sit down and play what I need him to play just so he gets the discipline. And he's like, he can play whatever he wants, and he's going to excel just so much more than I ever will. And he did. This kid was amazing. But it's just, so a little bit of talent, a little bit of skill. If you can mix those things together, you can get yourself in a pretty cool place. But music is kind of depressing sometimes, man. Like, started playing gigs when I was 13, 14 years old with my brother and my other friends, and
that's fucking crazy.
Never achieved anything that I wanted to. Like, definitely played at some cool places. We traveled around a little bit, played some shows in some other bands. Never exceeded a certain point, just because everybody always gets to the point where they're done. They've got bigger things to do. They got to go back to real life.
Yep.
They don't agree with
That's
somebody.
the big one.
Creative differences
I gotta
too,
go
man.
back to real life.
Yeah, I got to go back to real life. This just isn't realistic anymore.
'Cause you ain't making shit for money.
And you get a lot of that.
But then like creative differences.
Yeah, creative differences are huge. Like I've had to leave multiple groups that like I've written like full on, like we wrote EPs together and like we were ready to go, but someone decided that it just wasn't the jam and they were just such a stick in the mud about it that everyone stopped playing music together.
You know, and I feel like that's just a lot of weak people. That's a lot of immaturity. It's a lot
of weak.
And you know, when you deal with these older ages, especially when you deal with people, seems to be much more, you know, like, listen, man, like we're not getting over emotional. We're not worried about who's the coolest or who, you know, we're just trying to make beautiful music.
And that's been the difference with this group.
That's fucking cool, man.
Is I spent 15 years trying to do this, to finally sit down in a room with some people where like we didn't even have all the equipment out. Like we were just jamming in Jacob's basement. And like,
who's Jacob?
He's our guitar player, lead guitarist.
Yeah, let me run it through them. You got Joey.
We got Joey.
Jay Frey.
He's the mastermind. He decided to put all of this together. He hits me up one night while after work, and he goes, "Dude, I want to start jamming some sounds. You know, get some good vibes going." It's like, what do you feel? And I was like, dude, I'll help you. Like, I'm down. Can I play the keys? I'll do like some backup vocals and stuff.
Dude,
it's like, dude, I'm so down. And so yeah, we got together, and we got Jacob on the guitar. He's a great guitarist, man. Like, it's so cool to just let him loose on something because he'll just like kind of doodle away with it, and
really,
you never even know he was there until.
Where'd you guys meet this guy?
He's a friend of Joey's. I can't remember where he came from, honestly. I met all of these dudes like the day we came together to jam.
So Joey's just the great connector, bringing people together.
Joey was the mastermind, and he got us in this room, and we started jamming. I think we were playing. I think it was his song "Let Me Smoke My Herb," the one that we just finished, got it all polished up and ready to record.
So you guys haven't recorded it yet?
We have not recorded it yet.
Wow.
We recorded it live on Thursday,
but it's ready.
It's ready.
So Joey did send me the YouTube video. I'm gonna go fucking look at that. I'm gonna put that up so you guys can check it out.
Oh, you rock, bro. But yeah, we get in the room and we start playing. We didn't even have anything set up really, but we were just kind of jamming acoustic style. And Jacob got about halfway through the song and he just stopped. And I kept going, you know, everybody else kept going, and I look over at him and he's crying. And I was like, I feel that right now. Like, I got all the goosebumps. I got goosebumps again right now, dude. It's just every time I think about it.
Wow.
Like, sometimes you end up in the right place with the right people.
Fuck.
And that, yeah.
God, that gets me hard.
It's fucking magical, man. Gets
that.
me hard every day.
I fucking love that, dude. That's the shit that gets me right, bro.
Yes, sir.
Holy fucking shit.
Also, that's Slurricane. Wow.
Very delicious.
That's nice.
You got any more of these beverages? Because I need something cold right now.
You know what? I don't think I brought any more. It was a 4-pack.
Okay, let me go grab some.
But it was a really long hour and a half between my nap and when I got here. The nap is the killer. When I was a little kid, I would take naps everywhere, bro. Be like, my family would just be chilling in the living room, like everyone's watching a movie or something, and I would just go into the room and grab my pillow and a blanket and just go curl up in the corner and fall asleep. Everyone's like, "What's wrong with your 4-year-old?" Like, oh, he's just taking his own nap.
So you've been napping forever? I'm
a nap person. Yeah, I'm an advocate for naps.
Grown in or out of it?
Yeah, never gonna grow out of the naps. I hope they keep you going. Wake up early in the morning, get a bunch of shit done, take a nap, wake up again, go to work for 10 hours,
and then take another nap.
Play video games.
And so do you ever just get a full 8? Or are you just napping all day?
I try to get a full 8 sometimes.
Sometimes?
But my schedule is set to where I'm mainly up at night. And I don't know what it is. I don't sleep super well, I guess. So normally, I'll get like 4 or 5. So then
you can
midday,
operate pretty good on that?
Midday, I'll take like an hour or 2 for a nap normally.
Okay, good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. And you're not tripping about that. Like, you're just like, Yeah, that's like, that gives me fucking anxiety just thinking about it.
For a while.
Like if I don't get 8 hours right out the bat, I'm like, I'm gonna die today. Well, I'm not
I was like that once, I think.
not gonna die today, but I'm like, I'm gonna run out of energy. I hate like feeling like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm, I love having energy when you're just like, hey, what up, da, 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 and just being able to sustain it. You know what I mean?
That's why when I used to work mornings in the kitchen, I used to drink a lot of tequila in the morning because I just couldn't be peppy. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to counter this. Just,
dude, you just make it happen.
Just make it happen, bro.
Dude, tequila in the mornings is always a good idea, but
I think so.
depending on what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, when you're going to cook seafood, it's not.
Oh, it's not a good. Oh,
yeah. Get some mixture of smells.
Oh,
yeah, it can get weird.
Oh. So what kind of liquor do you pair with seafood?
White wine.
Really?
That's the only thing that I can think of that's palpable with most seafood. I don't know. A lot of people make a lot of mixed drinks with like rum, a lot of fruity shit.
Dude, I'm a grown man. I don't think I've ever had a white wine. I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever tried it.
If you're getting the right white wine, I'd recommend it. Sure. When I used to work at the Italian restaurant, they used to take the people that sold the most wine like every 2 months, and like the waiters, and we'd go to Walla Walla, and we'd go fuck around for a couple of days and go do a bunch of wine tastings and just get incredibly trashed and walk around. It's good times.
Man,
I grew to appreciate wine.
I need to get there, man. I think that
I'm gonna bring wine next time we do a podcast. That's what we're gonna do.
Is it served cold?
Depends on the wine.
Because if it's 91 degrees out here, we're drinking warm wine. That just seems horrible.
You drink red wine. I can drink red wine in this temperature. No problem.
In this temperature right now, just sip a little wine.
Mm-hmm. Brings out the tannins, man. It's them wine terps.
Tannins, wine terps.
Yeah.
Dude, I need to get schooled on wine, dude. I need some wine.
Honestly, I need to learn more about wine because I love it and I don't know shit about it.
This is what happens when you get older. You're like, I want to sip fine wines.
Dude, straight up, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, wanted to work at NASA and shit, because my grandpa worked at NASA. And I was just like, man, this is what I want to do. I would have had to have been a lot smarter.
So he's a part of the flat Earth conspiracy.
You know what? That's what I always told him. And he just always said, shut the fuck up, Daniel. And that was what I got out of him.
So because, the flat Earth people don't think that I don't think they think that NASA's not real, or NASA's.
So the flat Earth people think that NASA is lying to them. They're making weird videos
that they've
to
never
prove that the Earth is round and shit. Personally, I got the opportunity, which makes me really, really happy. Back when my uncle was an Air Force commander or some shit, I got to go way up high in a military jet. Like the type of shit where like you got to wear a barf bag because when you're taking off you will throw up. And I did. I threw up 4 or 5 times on the way up in this thing.
No fucking way.
It was so dope, dude, because you get up to a certain height and you can see the planet. You can tell all of you can see the like way further than you ever thought imaginable. Like on a clear day, you can see halfway around the world from 72,000 feet.
That's fucking nuts, dude. And who brought you up there?
My uncle.
Your uncle. That's a cool fucking uncle, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
really good times.
That is so fucking cool,
Dude used to fly
man.
around in like his little Cessna all the time, and that sketched me out. Like just being in like a little 2-seater airplane flying around like in the Seattle area.
Yeah,
like,
that's where.
No.
People die that way.
People die. I always think John Denver, but.
Oh, poor John Denver. So what was it that you shot up in? That you got up there into that height?
I think it was an F-14 or an F-22. Some fighter.
I don't even know what that
jet.
is. But okay, so some type of
one of the Boeing F-series.
One of the planes they were
jets.
fighting the aliens in Independence Day.
Yes.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those kind of planes.
Okay.
Yeah, you pull like, I think it was like 2.3 G forces taken off of the ramp or some shit like that.
I don't know what that is. It sounds heavy.
It's your weight times 2.3. So like imagine two and a third of yourself sitting on top of your lungs, just because that's how fast you're going forward.
Whoa.
That's what jets do.
So I wonder what the flat Earth people think like when it like a rocket goes up. Like where does it go?
Did you see the video of the dude that tried to go up on the rocket?
Poor
Trying
guy.
to move some shit?
Poor guy.
Man. That's where the rocket goes.
He died, right?
Yeah, he died.
Yeah.
Oh, he died bad.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's bad.
thing about that is that when the astronauts come back from space, and NASA's got all these pictures and they got interviews with the astronauts, like, oh, these guys have been in the space station for however long. They did their tour, they came back, pulling them out of the ocean. Those are the only pictures that you'll find that don't have the flat earthers all over them, like, fake, this is fake news, guys. These guys didn't really do this, because, you got people sitting there actually saying, yeah, we just came back, it's real. It's interesting.
I mean, I still feel like a lot of those flat earthers are like, yeah, you just came back from the green screen room,
Yep.
and yeah, this is all an act. But the amount of people that would need to be lying for, I can just tell. You can just kind of tell when something's like, I mean, no.
Just I could agree with that. I think there's too many people that think that kind of stuff is a conspiracy, and that might just come from, having a family with such a deep military.
I mean, like, there's so many people. There's so many people that would need to be lying at NASA.
Oh, it's ridiculous how many people
would need to be lying. Like, for that to be real. Like,
and the Air Force.
Everybody's just acting. This is Hollywood. They're all just like, oh yes, just came back. Like, oh no, I'm working in the space station. Like just making shit up. Like,
ridiculous.
In this whole charade, and they're like, we're just paying you to hush because we're stealing money. And
my mom's dad, the engineer, actually helped design the space station.
Fucking what?
Yeah. He designed. I don't remember what part of it, but he helped work on that shit, and it was
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's nuts, and that's
he was
one of
up
the parts
there.
For me, it's like I know that he's not gonna lie to me about that. This dude all but raised me, and I know for a fact that he bullshitted about some things, but he's not gonna lie about something that was his entire life for 20 years.
Well, you could tell.
Yeah. So it's people are fun just because they don't want to be presented with new information.
Yeah, like
because
aliens.
They think that they know things. Dude, aliens.
Like aliens. Like, they just released. There's so many things. This new Cardi B song with fucking Meg the Stallion, WAP. Wet ass pussy.
You know what that wet ass pussy got them? Cheated on and shot.
Yeah, she did get shot in the foot.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. But that, I feel like, garnered more attention than the fucking news about aliens. Like, aliens are fucking real.
Yep.
We just found out that, like,
you know why most people stop going down the alien rabbit hole, I think they get to the point where there's an amount of distance between us and everything else in the solar system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's talk about 100,000 light years. You travel for 100,000 years at the speed of light. So unless you can speed up the speed of light,
that's 100,000
That's 100,000 years you're spending.
That's a long time.
Unless somebody can break E equals mc squared by, once again, increasing the speed of light or something to that effect, relativity is always going to tell us that no matter how fast you go, it's still going to be that far away.
Yeah.
So we're stuck thinking that aliens are not coming because they're not on Saturn. We can see that shit, and I don't see any alien moon base. We're just fine. So they're thinking these guys are 50,000 years away, and they're not coming out here.
That's true.
They're not opening their mind to the possibilities that there could be other options.
What is going on? What do you think is going on with aliens? I don't know, man. It's crazy because sometimes I'll just look at somebody and I'm just like, you're an alien. Like, I can just tell.
Since I've moved to Spokane, so in the last 11 years, I have seen 3 people that I believed were aliens.
I think I've seen 3 people. 2 people at least.
Yeah. And you see them for just a split second, and it's never been scary for me because they've acknowledged me. Like, one time I was sitting in the parking lot out by where I used to live, way out in the valley, and I'm sitting there in the parking lot at the Fred Meyer, and it's like 3:30 in the morning, man, like witching hour to the max.
Okay.
Aliens don't care about that, but that was how I remembered it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I was about to smoke some weed, and I look up, and like just right in the next row of parking spaces, there's this dude on this crotch rocket, like texting on his phone. I was like, I wonder what this homie's doing at 3:30 in the morning. He's out here selling some drugs or something. Like, I should go say hi to him. And he takes off his helmet and he looked at me, and it was not a human.
No fucking way,
Motherfucker
man.
looked straight at me, and he just kind of nods and put his helmet back on and then zipped off just as fast as that crotch rocket could take him. And
What?
that's not even the weirdest one, man. Okay.
So that fucking happened. Is that where was that? Here in Spokane?
That was out in the valley, out by Sullivan.
And were you on drugs?
I was not on drugs. I was about to be on drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
only
if someone's about to be on drugs, clarity is there.
Yeah, the clarity is there. Like I can definitely tell you all the times that like I've gone places and done things while I was on drugs.
So what
I can tell you that astral projection may not be real, but I definitely felt like I was walking down the beach, 10,000 miles away when I found that fucking cool ass rock. Who knows if it's real? I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not.
So was it like? Because when I picture an alien head, have you ever seen Paul the movie?
Yes.
That's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think an alien looks like.
So, all 3 times that I've seen these motherfuckers around here, been very humanoid-esque. I'm talking probably just like more. The eyes are a little weird. I mean,
but the same shape of face,
same kind of shape, just much paler, like a gray sort of complexion. Which
okay,
leads me to believe that, like, if there were the grays, that's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
But I also think that they just want me to know they're here. Because the first time I saw them, I thought for sure I was about to get abducted.
What?
Well, because everything, if you go down that rabbit hole, like let's say you're on YouTube and you say like, dude got abducted by aliens. Everything you see is going to be someone sitting there talking about how like, yeah, I had all these premonitions. I was thinking all this crazy shit. I locked myself in my house because I saw an alien in my front yard. And then I disappeared for however long and then came back and no one believes me type of thing. So for a long time, after I saw the first one, I thought that I was about to get abducted because I was like, all right, so they're scouting me out. They know I'm here now. Whatever they want from me, they're going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just left it open. I didn't lock myself in my house. I didn't care.
You were just like, hey.
I just said, you know what? If they want me, they're going to get me.
Wow.
And then we'll see what happens here.
Damn.
Here's the problem
you were ready
with that.
You were ready to accept that.
I was ready to accept it. If that did happen or not, I don't know because...
Wait, you saying you could have been abducted?
Yeah, through psychedelics and like I was talking about, like astral projection. I've definitely put myself into places where I was incapacitated.
So what is astral projection?
People think astral projection.
Astral?
From my understanding.
Astral.
I don't really stand for this. This is why I don't know much about it because someone tried to explain it to me once and I was like, that's fucking dumb.
I don't know what it is.
If you think hard enough about a place, you can go there.
Oh.
It's another facet of magic, but it's like the woohoo kind of magic, not like the science kind of magic. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. So it's like astrology versus like astrourology. It's just a little bit different approach to the same type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting to me as well.
But you were talking, man, where were we? We were talking about fucking
getting abducted.
Yeah, you might have got abducted.
Yeah, so I've put myself multiple times into situations where either, took too much of something and knocked myself out, or woke up from what I thought was a dream and it was 2 days later type of thing. That's happened to me multiple times in my life.
Whoa.
I can say just as clearly that I didn't get abducted by aliens as I can say that I did, because I have no idea what happened in those amounts of time. I have times where I was, for all intents and purposes, asleep, curled up in my bed because the sounds were bouncing off the walls too hard, and I decided to curl up and fall asleep. And my roommate came into my room and said he couldn't fucking find me.
Oh my God.
So, like, things do happen that you can't explain, and if you want to be shut down about it, that's cool. But, like, I don't feel like that's much a way to live.
No, people should definitely talk about that.
I think they should explore that type of stuff.
Yeah, you should explore that.
Because the first alien that I saw, I thought was a little kid. It was at Hoop Fest, and that's what fucked with me. It's the first year I was here.
Okay, so this is the first one.
The very first one.
Okay.
I thought it was a little kid. I'm walking, big crowd of people. Everyone's walking with their cell phones up, like, oh no, I need to get some fucking service.
Yeah.
And there's a little kid walking with his mom, and he's holding onto a balloon, and they're walking probably like 2-3 people worth in front of me. And I see the balloon go up, and I was like, oh. And I look down to look at this kid, and he's looking right at me, and same thing, just real pale, just drawn out. I was like, That's not a little kid.
Whoa.
And I kind of just froze in my steps. But I think they knew, as they, depending on, and that's the hard part about this. I can't say they knew I was gonna freeze in my steps, so that's why they showed their face. But that's the logical response in my head. Like, holy shit, I just saw a fucking alien. I'm just gonna stand here for a second. By the time I got my composure, they were gone. No recollection of how it happened.
And that
that was what set me off on the holy shit, I'm about to get abducted train. So I spent a good amount of time thinking that was going to happen.
So how much time was it between that and the parking lot?
Ooh. Parking lot happened about 2 years ago, so that was about 9-year span.
So there's 3. Where was the third one? Where does that lie in the timeline?
The third one was about 1.5 years before the last one, which was the parking lot one.
Okay, so it was before that one.
Yeah.
So that's the middle guy.
Yeah. So the middle guy was the interesting one, in my opinion.
Well, let's jump into it, folks.
So to understand this, you have to understand the situation. The situation was, I was real desperate, looking for a place to live, and my buddy Tyler goes, bro, come and live with me. I'm like, dope. Like, I really appreciate that. Like, whatever. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we moved in there, and she ended up leaving real quick because she was just, not the type of person to deal with that kind of thing. But whatever, you live and you learn. And Tyler had this place where, because he had lived there for like 8 years, okay, and off to like the side of the apartment complex, there's this giant like grassy hill, and there was a couple of trees. Now, over the course of him living there, he had buried 4 or 5 cats and like gerbils and chinchillas and stuff underneath those trees, because that was just like where he would go to remember that type of thing, because like they had died like while he had them or whatever. And that's just to preface this. So
he had a pet cemetery.
He had a pet cemetery.
Whoa.
So I'm sitting in my car, just dark. I think I had just gotten done. I was on a closing shift or something. It was probably around midnight. I'm sitting in my car, and I'm looking off to the left because I saw a little reflection, and I was like, oh, someone's in their car or something over there, whatever. They're probably watching me. So I look over, and I just see someone just like standing there next to Tyler's pet cemetery tree. And I was like, oh, he's out there. I'm going to go say hi to him, see if he's okay.
You thought that was him?
Yeah. So I go walking towards him, and I realize about halfway there that this dude didn't have any dreads, didn't have any hair at all, actually, was really fucking tall. And I was like, this is creepy. Dude, gets me every fucking, that's so weird.
Wow.
And yeah, dude, I got within shouting distance, and I was like, hey, what's up, dude? And he just turned around and saw me, and then just turned back, and he's put his hand on the tree, and it just made me just want to watch. And so I stood there, right? So
bro, I'm gonna fucking hit a little fucking weird scared tear real quick.
Dude,
bro.
no, I get those.
Crazy.
I get those because he was just feeling this tree and like the energy that he had put there. And he just, I don't know if he was just accepting that or just understanding what that was. And then he just turned and he just kind of walked away up the hill. I didn't follow him because I've never been the type to be like, yeah, I'm going to follow these things. But that one was weird. So the next day, right? The next day, I get up and I'm talking to my roommate, and I told him what had happened. I didn't know that he had been doing some interesting things lately. So he had been smoking a shitload of DMT.
Okay.
Like, he'd just been sitting in his room just blasting off like 4 or 5 times a day.
Wow.
And he was convinced that he was learning something that he needed to know, but he hadn't quite gotten to where these deities would talk to him yet. He could follow them to the place where they were congealing all of this energy, but he couldn't get them to say anything to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go out, and I was telling him about this dude, next to the tree and all this shit. And he just goes, man, that's really trippy, because like that's where I buried like all the cats and stuff, and that's where I did all that. And it was such a surreal moment. And he said in my trips, I've been seeing that tree. That, I think, just speaks to a connecting consciousness.
So the dude who buried the animals in the tree is the dude who was taking the DMT trips
and seeing this tree, because he had invested so much of himself in that. There's intent there, right? Mm-hmm. So he's seeing this, but I'm putting something else into this, and then that lights a fuse. That tells him, oh, that's a connection.
Whoa.
And whether that's a real connection or if that's just superfluous shit, like, we don't know. But that's the kind of shit that I live on these days, man, because I'd rather hope than just be a black hole like I was for a long time.
Yeah, when you're just convinced that this is just what it is and that there's nothing else and I don't need to expand and learn and keep an open mind, then you live in a sad place.
You do. You really do.
Because, man, this sun's shining and it's beautiful and there's opportunity and people with stories, and people tell stories through music, and music is like one of the most beautiful things ever, man. And I wonder if the aliens can play good music, because I'll be stoked to hear what the fuck they
I should hope so.
Or maybe it just sounds like shit to us. We're just like, dude, you guys got no style. Because you got to have a little style when you're doing music. You can't just be, you got to be able to do it a certain type of way, man. Like, so
when I think of aliens, I think they've either been here since before we were here, or they had to travel a real long time to get here. So either way, these are some really old and smart creatures, So let's say they are coming in. Let's say they're studying our planet. They're looking at us. What the fuck would they think? You ever think about that? Like, let's talk about a civilization that's 200,000 years older than ours. 100,000 years ago, they decided to pack up half their civilization on a makeshift, like, rocket-style planet that could just propel them across the universe for eons. And they decided to just grow and just travel from place to place.
I think one of the misconceptions with aliens is maybe, we're always convinced or sold or want to believe that aliens are of this more higher intelligence, and that they're superior and all technologies and things like that, where maybe aliens are dumber and they're just like on a planet and they're just like, fuck, I wish I could get off this fucking planet, dog.
I can appreciate that. Just some dumbass alien, dog, like, man,
aliens out there.
I tried to build this pyramid and it's like,
it's all fucked up. Yeah. They're just like, they've done well for themselves on their planet, but never really like been able to achieve like any type of fucking, like no type of Death Star or like Millennium Falcon or
just
something.
Haven't quite made it yet.
Yeah. Maybe they believe in flat Earth. Maybe there's some flat Earth aliens out there who just like can't get off their planet because they're just convinced that they're just like, it's just not possible.
It's just not a thing. I honestly really hope if we're ever approached by aliens, it's the dumbass aliens.
I mean, because but I think that it's, that's a movie idea, actually. I think we need to go the other way with those and start doing some aliens where, you got slacker aliens and we find them and we just crash their planet and we're like, damn, really?
Man, look at these fucking stoners.
And we're the aliens.
Yeah.
Because what is an alien really? Is just a foreign type, thing coming into your world or whatever. Like, alien, I don't understand you.
That is true.
And I could go to somebody in a different country. Alien! Ah! I've never seen you before.
That takes us down a whole different path.
That does. It takes us down a whole different path. But I just think that it's very possible that aliens... What about Sasquatch?
I spent some time in the Seattle area. I definitely believe in Sasquatch.
Really?
Yeah. I saw a Sasquatch museum where they had like castings, like they had poured like a plaster cast of like a Bigfoot track. And like that was quite obviously just like someone's foot that was like blown up to size.
Well, then if that's the case, then you know that everything else is potentially a lie.
Yeah.
Then how do you believe in Bigfoot? Bigfoot.
So again, this is going to go back to a crazy old guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
crazy old guy
this crazy old guy that had a farm. And this guy was he was that upstanding, like always went to church, like all of his kids were really nice, all of his grandkids and great grandkids. This dude was like 95 years old. So I could attribute this to him being crazy.
Okay.
But he always claimed that he saw Sasquatch just walk right across his front yard.
Yeah, that sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, it sounded really crazy. But this dude told this story my entire young life. And like I never thought this dude would lie to me. And so, like, when I ended up going, and, like, anytime you go and hike around, like, especially, like, in the North Cascades, it's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
just looking at all the scenery. Like, no, I'm behind a rock looking for Sasquatch tracks, and like, because like for
have you ever
some,
found anything?
I have not, but there's this weird kind of desire inside of me that wants there to be a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So I'll probably keep looking, even though
I think that's
I
cool.
know I'm not gonna find it.
I think there's crazier shit probably in the ocean.
Oh, definitely.
In the ocean, there's probably a Bigfoot of the ocean.
I'm actually pretty scared of the ocean.
The ocean, dude, the ocean's terrifying because you're totally out of your element. Like, people are like, oh, well, we can camp. I can grab a backpack and a big old this is knife, right? I can bring a knife with me. I can bring a gun. I'll bring my AR-15 with
but
me.
on the ocean, you're on a little boat.
What are you going to do with an AR-15 when you're trying to you're about to get ate by a squid?
Yeah.
You know, a giant
We're about to
squid.
get like toppled over by a giant wave or something.
What is the most dangerous thing in the ocean, you think? What is
that I'm not sure.
Or like it that like, you know, if you were, what is the most really just the ocean itself and weather seems to be just terrifying. Like,
it is
on a boat.
I have some friends who did the fishing thing, like in Alaska.
Really?
Yeah. I decided to not do the boat thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
But
no boat things for me.
But man, they told some stories, and just seeing how destructive the water itself was up there, and knowing that there's places in the world where it's 10 times worse.
Dog, fucking
like,
Alaska
that's scary.
will eat you.
Yeah.
You know,
dude, if the water don't get you, the bears will.
Dude, the story I like is the Into the Wild. You seen that?
Yep.
Where the dude, and went out to that bus. Like, that is so fucking cool to me. That somebody would just like, because that's a true story, right?
I believe so.
And he cut up his credit cards.
He did. He committed.
And his social.
Yep. Sent it.
And he was just like, I'm out. And he just, man, there's something beautiful about that.
There is. It goes back to that, like, just wanting to disconnect from everything, but in a different way. But that's your ego going a different direction.
In a weird way, I really like understand the people who are like, dude, I just want to get the fuck out.
Yep.
I don't want shit. I don't want no technology. I don't want anything. But to me personally, I like to be connected to people, you know, but it's like, I get it because it can be a bit overwhelming.
It can. I definitely prefer to have technology and, you know, cars and phones and internet, but I could see the merit in, you know, getting out of the city. You know,
I mean, just
being somewhere where you've got some space, where maybe you can grow some food or like a cow or something. You know, like I could see the reason why someone
how
wants
old
to
are
do
you?
that. I'm 28.
28. Okay, so just a little bit younger than me. So it's like I grew up where it was like no internet and into it, right? Like no cell phones or just like basic, you know, not shit, right? Into what we have now. And I mean, I can definitely appreciate some of the other side where you don't have a cell phone. You know, my neighbor came over the other day and he said, over in that house on the end over there was a big brawl in the front yard. There was like 10 people out there. And I was like, really? Now, I feel like back in the old days, you would just walk over to that house and knock on the door and say, man, I heard some shit went down. What happened? I just live over here down the street. And now there's like a weird, like, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? You know,
yeah.
Like there's just like that social, like just the whole phones and everything is just like put this big barrier in between like new people.
Oh, big time. I used to be excited to go home, like when I lived with my parents, and like listen to the messages on the answering machine. Like, ooh, let's see who tried to get a hold of us today.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know why.
Or when
but
somebody
that was fun
knocked
for me.
on the door, or somebody rang the doorbell as a kid, you're just like, oh, somebody's here. Holy shit.
Yeah, like, we are company. Whoa.
You know?
Yep.
And now it's like, whoa, you didn't text first? You fucking prick.
Yep.
Like, you're invading my... It's like, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stopping by.
I just wanted to say
we can't
hi,
stop
I'm sorry.
by. We don't fucking stop by anymore.
No, because we can just.
Now, let me be honest, okay? I'm not that intelligent, really. So I'm victim to these same things. People don't text me and they show up. And, you know, I'm such a nice guy. It's like, whatever. But inside, I'm like, I fucking hate you.
It's just wrenching. You're just like, why did you show up without
I was
telling me?
about to masturbate, and you just came over. You
Sometimes it's
fucking
time,
asshole.
man.
God damn it.
Yeah. I think people can sense that, though. Just like sometimes they can sense when there's food.
Or when you're on the porch smoking a blunt,
Yep.
and then people just kind of Snoop Dogg, like from Half Baked. They just kind of like just rise up.
Yep.
And they're just like, yo, what?
All of a sudden, he's there. Like, oh shit, I guess I'm smoking a blunt with you too.
I guess there's 5 people at my house now. All right.
I guess I've always been like that too, because I've always been the weed guy, or you know, the guy that can, you know, bring shit to you. So you know, that's how I made a lot of friends, especially when I was younger. Just hanging out and smoking, doing the thing. Then people show up. Oh, can I get a hit of that? Or just sitting there like, where the fuck did you come from? Like, you're not my people.
And see, there's like a one side of you that's like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another side of you that's like, man, doesn't weed bring people together? That is so fucking, it just does.
Yep.
A guy you don't know just went, hey, what you got? Can I hang out with you? You know? And in a way you're like, oh, you trying to bum on my shit. And in another way you're like, yo.
Right, that's cool.
Hey, man, I just met you because we both like weed. You can hit some weed, no problem.
And that's a connection.
And that,
even if it is superficial, that's a connection.
and I think that's a different, well, I think that I think that more people need to say something. Just say something.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel a type of way, if you see someone smoking a blunt and you're like, hey, man, can I hit that? I got $2. I got 5 on it.
Yep.
Hey, whatever. No, man, you can just hit it. Just speak up and let's connect more, like, as people. Let's go to shows. Let's go out and go to shows and watch a live performance. You know, that is valuable. Let's listen to an album front to back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the Lord intended, like the band intended.
Yes, sir.
Though they put it together a certain way. You don't skip around. You don't put it on shuffle until you've heard it. You know, there's just no principles
And those
anymore.
of us who make those really appreciate that. You know, we like it when people listen to it the way that we did because we liked the way that it sounded.
We put it in fucking order.
I like it when people show up to the show because they can hear the way that we put that together. Even, you know, just as this is the way that I wanted it to be.
And you get to see something that's like, this is only going to happen once. Even if these guys had 100 fucking cities on their tour, this moment right now will only happen one time. And these guys are playing this way with these expressions on their face, with this energy right here, right now. And I'm here. And that's a big fucking deal to me, man.
That's amazing.
We're here, man.
Happy to be here.
Oh, happy to be.
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of people are just so worried about getting somewhere. There's this utopia that we're all going to get to and everything's just going to be okay. It's never going to fucking happen. Life will continuously suck and you will get better.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you will have a mushroom trip and you will do some learning and exploring and following some of these weird things and these aliens that we see in the fucking parking lot. You know, and you explore those fucking things, man, because that's fucking crazy, man.
It is. And it's just, it's crazy for me too, telling that story, because like all 3 of those, like I get such intense chills just thinking about it. Like you said, you got like that little tear, just like, holy shit.
Dude.
Like it elicits all of those feelings because like that very blatantly happened to me, you know, and like people that don't have that kind of thing happen to them, they won't understand.
And I've
that,
seen the fucking goosebumps, bro. That's real. That's real shit.
All I can do is try to convey that, you know. And
that's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah. Whereas there's other things like I could tell a funny story, and that's a lot easier to connect with.
Yeah. But because some people just don't want to even just think that there could be something, you know.
Exactly.
But maybe that's just me when a flat earther talks. You know, and I'm just like, well, yeah, you're wrong.
Well, I disagree. It's
They're like,
everything,
we'll be open to the
everything that
possibilities,
is science.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I guess I get it. And this is the other thing, is you're never going to the utopia metaphor is the same for the people, in that some people you're not going to be able to just figure people out. You're not going to be able to just, get people to think this way or that way. Everybody's different. Everybody's going through a different time of their life, in a different situation, in different surroundings, influenced by different things, and that's why you got to mind your goddamn business.
Yes, sir.
Mind your fucking business. It's funny. We were hanging out at the store. We was talking about just to get back to some weed. We were talking our staple, our favorite. Shout out to Cinder. We love you.
Shout out to Cinder, man.
We were talking about archaic weed names that we just. When people come in and they just say these names, you're just like, oh, come on.
So it's not as much archaic as it is annoying.
Yeah, because it could even be not so old.
Yeah, people say things like,
you got some chronic?
I need that flame. Hey, man, what you looking for? Oh, some of that kill? What?
That is great.
And people that are like, I just need something that's gonna wake me up in the morning and make me blabbity blabbity blah. I'm like, you need a different fucking drug, homie.
Like a cup of coffee.
Like, you're in the wrong place.
Well, you just need the fact that it's like a sativa is like a shot of, espresso.
For sure.
And that indica is like an Ambien.
But then you get those people that, they'll smoke too much sativa and they still fall asleep. Because that's real.
That's the thing, is that it's fucking THC, man. It's weed. You're getting high. You're going to get tired. It's not.
I am of the opinion that the whole indica v sativa thing doesn't matter at all. And that just comes from having smoked for most of my life.
Well, you and me are sitting on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
We've smoked an array of indicas.
Yes.
I feel amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel like I want to fall asleep. I don't feel tired. I don't feel unmotivated. I feel great. So to think that when somebody's shopping and is saying, well, I don't want an indica because I got things to do.
Yep.
You should maybe keep in mind that this is some of the best weed we have in the store.
Yeah.
And that you should smoke it and enjoy it. I
think everybody should keep an open mind. Don't be short-sighted in anything. And that's hard. That's really hard to say. That's hard to do. But something to think about, at least, when you're doing stuff.
True.
Yeah.
You got some Doja? You got some dank?
God damn.
How about
some of that dank?
What about some, dude, I like Kill.
Just straight up. I've only ever had one person say that, but he has said it to me probably 5 or 6 times.
Yo, you got
over
some.
the last year.
You got some gas.
I
need some gas.
Oh my god, a gas. I can at least appreciate that, because then I'll take something that I know is just straight up gasoline in the terps.
They're like, no,
and I'll be like,
sorry,
here you
man.
go. They're like, oh, that wasn't what I wanted. I'm like, well, you said it wrong.
You said gas. He's like, I meant good weed. Okay, that's what gas means.
If you want something good, I got you. Tell me you want something good.
Because your favorite terpene is that gas.
It's hard to say that's
diesel?
My favorite, but yeah, it's that earthy gas like you get in gas. That the ice cream cake.
Oh, wait, ice cream, dude.
And a lot of them cookie strains kind of lean that direction
very
off of the
earthy
limonene.
on those cookie strains. I just had that I-90 cookies.
Wow, dude.
What are you smoking on? When did the Refine come into your life?
Holy shit. Refine came into my life back in 2013. I was buying some shatter from a medical shop.
Okay.
And that was my first experience.
And you bought refined shatter.
I dabbled with that for, they had a lot of different options over the years, but that was the first thing I bought.
Wow.
Yeah. To this day, probably some of the best shatter I've had.
So, and then was it kind of like love at first sight, like when you first?
That stuff was really good. I didn't go gung ho for it though that quickly. I was just like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out here, and we were making a lot of oil at the time too, so I wasn't really.
So you're just high a lot.
Much.
You're just like,
I'm
not tripping.
Yeah. And then I think it was about 2016. They dropped one that was. I'm trying to remember what they called it. It was their glue tech. So it was Gorilla Glue with Dutch Treat terpenes, and it was like one of the first loud resins, but it was the combo thing.
Wow.
Just unbelievably stupidly nice.
That sounds so
It's the
good.
kind of stuff that you remember forever.
Oh my god.
And so that happened, and then I started seeking them out whenever I could find them, but it was a little bit more difficult.
Because
and then
this is pre-rec.
yeah. Well, no, that was like Satori, like rec. So like early
okay.
rec.
Oh, early
Yeah.
rec. So this is 2013,
2016,
14,
right around then.
16.
Yeah. So fast forward
Okay.
to 2019.
God, that doesn't seem that long.
Doesn't seem like all that long ago,
Doesn't
brother.
seem a long
Dude,
time.
side note, I was listening to this podcast the other day, and this guy was like, yeah, so I quit music for a while. It was 25 years. And I'm just thinking about like that's a fucking blink for this dude. He's 80 years old. Like 25 years was just like.
I hope not.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because really, when you think about it, time is just the fucking same, right?
That's what we hope for.
Like in our mind, things could move faster or slower, but really, time is just science. It's just happening. It is what it is.
It is.
And
that's where I go back to relativity. No matter how fast I go, it's going to move the same speed.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be the same.
Which
It's
is
going to be
interesting.
1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. That's what it is.
Yep.
And I don't know how the fuck we got here.
I rabbit trailed from somewhere. We were talking about Refine. That's what we were doing. So
That's
yeah,
what we're
fast forward to 2019. Amy, fucking the best. I love Amy. She was my purchaser at Downtown Cinder.
Amy Phillips.
Amy Phillips. She grabbed some Refine. She finally hooked us up with it at Cinder.
And this was where? Down Valley?
That was downtown.
Oh, downtown. Okay.
Yep. And then I started buying it in droves because it was really accessible, and it's the best oil you can smoke.
And now this is just what you smoke all the time.
That's pretty much what I smoke for the most part. Yeah.
And there's other things, like you said.
There's definitely other things.
The Danksar,
yeah.
you know, what I mean,
seek out. I've got a lot of friends that make a lot of really good hash and stuff still. So I smoke a lot of that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get my hands on some of that.
I'll get you some. I got you. You know I got
that
you.
That sounds great.
Yeah, dude.
I want to go on this hash thing, man. I really like the full. I'm a big connoisseur, big full flavor, all the plant.
The thing I like about it is it doesn't lie, man. So like with any extract, you can isolate a part of it. You can take out part that you don't want, whatever. But with the hash, once you run it through the water, that's what you've got.
Okay.
You can't make it prettier. You know, you can't really fuck with it to make it better than it is. You know, it's just
okay.
If your plant was awesome, you can get a good hash out if you know what you're doing.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's cool.
So
The hash don't lie.
So indica sativa doesn't really matter.
Not to me. Also could have something to do with this immense amount of ADHD that I deal with, but I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, dude, the brain chemistry is huge. Just because everybody's is different.
Like if I smoke strawberry cough, I feel like I don't even really get that high.
You and me both.
It's just like,
it's a strain
wow.
that I stay away from.
Why did I smoke that?
Yeah, it makes me feel like I just wasted my time.
Yeah, it's just nothing happens.
Yep.
Every
just like
time.
Purple Punch is one of those strains for me for the most part.
I really don't like Purple Punch either.
It's got that nice like, oh, it's so fruity, it's so skunky.
Though I
like,
will tell you,
but-
this is a Purple Punch cross, right?
It is. They got the good part of it.
This is good.
Yeah.
Was Do-si-do and Purple Punch?
Slurk.
I think so.
Something like that.
I think it's Do-si-do and
I don't
Purple
know.
Punch. I will
try to pay
firmly stand on that. Purple Punch, Do-si-do.
I'll
Book
take it.
that up on
I'm gonna tell
fucking-
everybody that.
If you put in the fucking comments if I was wrong, okay? But I wasn't.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong. I do my research.
Zach knows.
So Slippy, you guys are working on an album? You guys are working on just songs right now? You guys just kind of just going with the wind? What is happening?
We just got everything ironed out so we could play like a 5 or 6 song set for a show. And that's just because we're playing on Thursday nights at the Hidden Mother Brewery. I don't know where the hell I am, or else I would
the
point in the
Hidden
direction.
Mother Brewery. I
But
think
it's
it's down there. It's down there by the shiny buildings.
Yeah, down off of like Boone, like that shiny area.
What are those shiny buildings?
Yeah, but anyways, we're playing down there on Thursday nights now, just because it's the only
And it's
thing
outside.
to do. It's outside. It's fucking beautiful.
outside.
You can sit there and you can drink beer. You can listen to the music. It's really cool. So yeah, hit up Zach. Hit me up. We will definitely get you to see some Slippy music, because it's not just us. There's a couple other people that play down there on Thursday nights too, just because it's kind of like an open mic situation. But
I love
nobody really goes, so we just kind of play.
So people are, Hidden Mother Brewery is bringing back
They're bringing back the live shows.
some
man.
live
We're
shows
revitalizing
outside,
the
keeping
scene
it safe, keeping everybody safe
as
and,
safe
and
as
cool.
possible.
And have a couple drinks, enjoy yourself. This doesn't have to be the end of everything. We're out here still promoting good music and having a good time. Dan, thank you, man. Thank you for
Dude,
coming on this fucking podcast.
Thank
dude.
you. Like I said, it was really fun. Like, you are a pleasure to work with.
I don't
in a
even know if
situation
we've
like
even
this.
covered half the things I wanted to talk about, but we talked about a lot of shit.
We'll
And
do it again, man. It's fine.
yes, I think we should bring it to the Slippy stage, to the porch, to the big porch where it all started.
I think we should do that, man. We could definitely set that up. We got that show on Thursday, but our weekends are pretty open.
Guys, go down to the, what is it? Hidden Mother?
Hidden Mother Brewery.
Hidden Mother. It's like your normal mother, but a new
Well,
mother that you
hiding.
can't find.
Yeah.
She, a little hide and go seek.
Like my
couldn't find
mom
her.
when she went to go find cigarettes and never came back.
No. Damn, usually that's daddy. All right. Well, hey, sometimes it just is different. But
Different strokes.
yo, head down to the Hidden Mother Brewery. Check these guys out on Thursday. Slippy, Sticky Dan. Love you,
Thank you,
brother.
sir. Love you very much.
All right, guys.
Very, very much.
Yo, I'm just happy to be What are you saying? You could have been abducted?
I disappeared for however long and then came back and no one believes me.
No fucking way.
Shit happens, man. Yeah, dude, it was like whatever they want from me, they're going to get it. So I just left it open.
The butthole.
The butthole,
Dirty gym sock butthole.
it's the cornucopia of butthole. Feces.
Really?
Yeah, I threw up 4 or 5 times on the way up in this thing. It was so dope, dude.